this mirror.
Money will come and go.
You like that? Alright, I've had something on my mind I've been wanting to do for quite a long time with this Hilux. I'm just got in contact with the shop. They have it in stock, so I'm about to go pick her up. Whipping the Manta BT50 at the moment because they have my car. Let's go to the shop and pick her up. Let's go. It's not that exciting, but it should be fun. Let's go. Alright, we just arrived. It's a car hub, I think it is. I'm gonna go in and let's go grab it. Alright, I got the goods, as you can probably see in the back there. If any of you probably know anything about four-wheel drives, you know there's some aftermarket headlights in there. We're going to do something cool with the headlight. I've only got one, so I'm sure some of you can guess what we're about to do with one of the headlights. It's the driver's side. It's gonna be cool. I'll catch you guys when we get back to the workshop, but let's go. Okay, we're gonna pull the big rig into the workshop, but before we get on to doing the mod to the headlight, which you'll see later in the video, we're gonna be doing some preventative maintenance to the engine, making it a bit safer to rev up to that 5 grand mark, which we are already doing. Just now, we're going to be putting some valve stem retainers in to stop the valve stem seals popping off. And at the same time, we're going to be putting some heavy duty valve springs in from Engines Australia. So yeah, let's rip in to that. Let's get in the workshop. It's gonna be interesting. Well, what we're doing now is we're pulling the rock cover off because we're going to be changing the valve springs out, and while we're changing the valve springs out, we're going to be putting valve stem retainers on, because once you run high boost around the 50 to 60 psi mark, you run a lot of EMP at that pressure too, so your valve stem seals blow off, which they probably have blown off this engine. It means more oil gets used and things like that, and when you start it up, cold start, it blows a bit of white smoke. So I would say this engine has done it, so a bit of a preventative maintenance on that side, but then also we're putting stronger or more heavy duty valve strings in it so we can run a higher RPM, so we don't get valve bounce or anything like that. They dead. So I'm just pulling the fan off now, so I can get into, or so I can pretty much put a ratchet on the crank, so I can spin the crank around when we pull, so I can get it to like top dead center and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll get this fan out and then I'll probably pull the injectors off next. And then the cams need to come out. So yeah, it's pretty fun. Very, very fun. This is boring. I want to be bolting big turbos onto it. Oh, sure. Alright, so I just got some welding wire. I'm going to throw these into the cylinders to pretty much see how high all of them are at one time. Because when I take off the cams and I pull the valves out, I need the valves to drop onto the piston so I can change the valve spring out. Makes sense. So just threw all the welding wires into every single cylinder. As you can see, they're pretty close to the top, all of them are. I'd say, yeah, these ones, 2 and 3 are closest to the top. And then I'll spin the engine around and pull off the timing belt and then pull the cams out, and then we can start diving into taking the valve springs out. I said don't try this at home. Because this isn't home. The cam shafts are ready to come out of the engine. Yeah. Right, the cams are out. So KDs are shim over bucket, which means you've got your valve springs, and then your bucket that sits on top of your valve, and then you've got your cams which sit on the bucket. So these are your buckets here. Your 2 exhausts, your 2 intake, so forth. What we're pretty much doing is we're taking the bucket off and then taking the springs out. Like what I was saying before, these are your buckets that go over the top of your valve. I've just pulled all of them out. So now we're ready to put 1 cylinder to top dead center and then so forth. Yeah, you don't need that. So number 2 and number 3 cylinders are at the top. So I've taken all 8 valve strings out. So I just need to have a look. Come here, come. All right, so you can see those little, I guess, brown things are your valve stem seals. As you can see, that one is a lot higher than your intake here. So they pretty much all popped off. What I need to do, there is a small washer that is under all that oil. I need to pick it out, and then we can throw new valve stem seals in there, and then valve stem retainers on, and then new valve springs, and then another valve, more valves. Okay, so I'll just pull those valve stem seals out now, and then we can attack those washers that sit underneath that protect your valve springs from rubbing through on your head. There we go, there's your valve stem seals. Okay, so yeah, they're your valve stem seals. Pretty much your valve stem seals, for those people that don't know, are a seal that stops oil getting into your either intake valve or, intake inlet or your exhaust outlet. So because we run lots and lots of boost, which from factory they run about 18 PSI around there, and we're running about 60 PSI, means we're running about 60 PSI of back pressure as well, so EMP. And they seem to blow off at that. So it's a known thing to put valve stem retainers on to stop this. But yeah, lesson of the day. Here's the washers that you need to pull out. I'll show you here. So you just grab a magnet and put it down there. There we go. So yeah, they're just a thin washer that protects your head from your valve springs. Just chalking on the new valve stem seals now. I got a nice genuine kit. Here's the valve stem seal retainers, which I'll show you guys how it works. So this is your seal, and that seal goes over your valve stem, and then this valve stem retainer sits in there like that. So it holds your valve stem seal from getting blown out. So your valve spring sits on top of this valve stem retainer, holding it, retaining it in position. Just like that. Valve springs going in. Now you can rev it to 7 grand. You should have bought. Valve springs are in. Oh, look at that. Alright, so this is your valve keeper remover installer kit, German something, I don't know. But this pretty much goes in that hole there, so when it hits the top of the valve, it spreads it and you can go on. Alright. It works fast. How's that? Look at that. Oh. This thing works a treat. How good. I've done 2 and 3, so all both inlet and outlet, so exhaust and inlet are done. They've got the retainers and they've got the new upgrade valve springs. So now we just got to get number 1 and 4 to TDC, and then we can take out those valve springs. I'm taking out number 1 and 4 out with the old, in with the new. They're all in. Taking the accessory belt off. Oh. Yeah, I got brand new injector seats. 3, 4. So for those that don't know, I dropped those injector seats into the injector hole, which pretty much your injector, it's an injector seat, so it sits just below your injector, making a seal between the injector and the combustion chamber, so no gases leak past. But yeah, there you go. Cleaning the injector clamps, brah. Get ready to slap in. Everything is bolted up correctly now. We've got the valve strings in, valve stem retainers, and new valve stem seals on all the exhaust valves. Cams are in, timed up, injectors are in, all tight. And now we just got to throw the timing cover on and gears and timing belt, and then rocker cover and serpentine belt and fan, and we should be good to start her up. Painting it red because red's sick.
Why would you do that?
Why not? Sick. Red makes it go faster. I don't know what he's on about. Oh! I'm just rotating the engine a couple times just to triple check that I've got everything timed up correctly. I know I have it timed up correctly, but you can never be too sure. All right, we're good. I span it around probably about 5 revolutions just to be sure. No piston to valve, so we're good. I'm gonna throw the rocker cover on now, and then timing cover, tighten everything up, and then we're good to give her a start, and then we got on to the next project. Powder coat it. Oh, clean builds. Just throwing the big breathers on to the rocker cover, and then chuck the wiring harness on now after this, and then we should be all ready to start. Do a few checkovers before kicking her in the guts, but she should be almost ready. I think that is good. We've got the rocker cover off. On. Everything's on now. We should be ready to kick her in the guts, I reckon. Hey! Woo! She's alive! She's alive! Hear the nice whistle from the turbo? That's done. So valve strings and valve stem retainers are done. It's not really gonna change much right now. When we get on back to the dyno, G-Boss is going to see how it changes everything. So we show you guys later when he's back in town. But for now, we are going to make a cold air intake, and also this mirror. You like that? Ah! Oh, that's so much better. There was a spacer in there, eh? Get rid of that spacer. Set this dog back on. How good is that? Next modification. Headlight. Let's go. So this headlight is going to be a headlight we're going to take in and out when we do drags. Because this car gets driven on the road sometimes, we're not going to run this headlight. But what we're pretty much going to do is I'm going to trace out the headlight and cut it, and then cut the rear as well to fit 8 intakes. So pretty much replace that, and then we'll have a forced induction cold air intake. So when we drive, we get that nice fresh air going in. Down the strip, we'll be getting that nice fresh air going straight through that turbo. And that turbo is going to love us for it. And we also want to see if there's any benefit on the dyno, which we're not 100% sure. I'm going to try this first and then change up later if necessary. Hopefully this goes to plan. Oh, we're on. How's that? Oh. Shit. Alright, check that out. I still need to do a little bit more cleaning up on it. I've just got a silicone piece getting cut up, and we're gonna stick that in there, and then I'm gonna silicone around it. And then that means when we put this in, I'll have a bit of stainless that hangs out of it, and then we can connect it straight up to the turbo. And we can have that fresh air intake. Okay, so we finished with the Hilux headlight, cold air intake or forced induction, whatever you want to call it. That is all done. We've cut a 4.5 inch hole saw out of it. So I reckon it looks mint. What we gotta do now is plumber up. So plumber from the turbo all the way to here. We got a plumber all the way up to there. We just need to take the pod filter off and try and mock something up here. Pretty much sits like that. We're just gonna go tack her up now. Alright, all these pipes are cut. Pretty much just need to go over to the welder now, tack them all up, and then I will fit her up to the car, make sure she's all good for the last time, and then weld her up. Don't judge me on the welds as well. I am not a welder one bit. I know how to tack things and I can weld stuff just. I wouldn't say weld, but I could stick some things together. This is not going to go well. Boom! All tacked up. I need to clean up this burr and then we'll tack up the next one. might have cut her a little bit short. I told you guys I was horrible. Booger welds, good enough. If you can't weld it, grind it, I guess. Got my big 4-inch pipe. I'll just clean her up now and then we can actually scratch that. Other workshop has all the gear I need to sand that pipe and it's already set up, so it's only just down the road and yeah, we'll go do it there. It's just a little bit easier. This thing is fast. Every time I drive it, I can't believe how fast she is when we ever ride. Oh, this is where all our power pipes get made. So here's just a couple of them where they get tacked up, and then in there they get polished, and where all our airboxes get made as well. So we got heaps of airboxes, fan kits, power pipes, all get made in this workshop. Heat exchangers. Check out that pipe, she's looking shiny. So we'll just head back to the workshop now and I'll cut maybe a new silicone and get it plumbed up. I'm that keen. Alright, we just got back to the shop. Let's throw this dog on. Alright, let's start this thing. Moment of truth. Sounds like it's gonna suck the earth in. Holy crap. That is sick. Alright, let's pull her out. What do you reckon?
Not bad, not bad.
Alright, if you've gotten this far into the episode, I know it was a bit of a different episode from what we normally do. A lot less action, but a lot more involvement into the engine. We ended up making a 4.5-inch intake, changing the valve springs out, putting valve stem retainers in, pretty much just some preventative maintenance. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and if you're wondering why my hands are black, because I can't get it off, you need to catch next week's episode where we do GDJ 79 build series part 2. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next week.